We are so close, everybody, to the launch of Remnant 2. I'm really excited. I still need to actually make those classes. I know I only made the handler class videos, so I am making the rest of those videos right now. But I had to go ahead and put something out today that I saw on Twitter. If anybody doesn't know, and if you're not following, Ben Cureton, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but he is the principal designer at Gunfire Games, and on Remnant 2, and he actually dropped a really good tweet today. You can see it right here. It's quite a lot of copy pasta, but I'll try to read it really fast to everyone because I really thought this was great, and it really explains some things that even I had questions about. So the whole thing is about the progression and gear systems on Remnant 2. And then how they are designed to give players a greater control over their builds, with the biggest addition of that being the archetypes, which we have one video out right now that explains the handler archetype. But archetypes are supposed to give players the foundation to build upon while remaining flexible enough to facilitate the different playstyles when it comes to build crafting. Each archetype in Remnant 2 is going to come with 3 unique cooldowns based skills and a unique set of perks, which are meant to represent a baseline build without taking up precious trinket slots. They also come with a prime perk, which is a game-changing feature that is only available when the archetype is the primary, so on your first slot. When you're dual archetyping, we will have to determine which prime perk we want to utilize and which to forego. Excuse me. Archetypes come with an added benefit of being an easy-to-understand visual identifier for co-op. So if you've seen somebody playing a medic, you'll know that they'll be more team-oriented in their play. So you guys understand that. You'll be able to jump into a game and go like, oh, you're playing a medic hit, man. Okay, cool. So I'm going to run maybe the gunslinger to go full DPS, keep me alive, don't suck. Trinkets in Remnant 2, which are amulets and rings, are going to provide all sorts of interesting benefits. If you play the first Remnant, you'll probably know he even says it here that players gravitated toward the damage options, and it's like, who wouldn't? So in Remnant 2, they're pushing more of a playstyle defining options to amulets, and then they're creating a large variety of enhancing behaviors for rings. And since there's going to be so many, you're actually going to have 4 ring slots, which I think is phenomenal for build crafting. With the added freedom of extra ring slots, players are going to be able to more comfortably take 1 or 2 quality of life options instead of always loading up just on damage, which is true. However, players might also just drop 4 damage rings on, right? 4 ring slots let players supplement their build at the cost of only 1/4 of their ring capacity instead of 1/2. Of course, nothing is stopping you from loading up on damage, but you may surprise yourself with what you're willing to trade a little bit for comfort. Relics, which if y'all remember in Remnant 1 were dragon hearts, you just took those. They gave you health back. Some of the ways that work changed based on a ring you were wearing. However, in Remnant 2, dragon hearts are actually considered relics. So now instead of just 1 healing options, you're going to have many to choose from. This has been covered greatly in other people's videos, but this is also a very great change, I think, coming in Remnant 2. Different relics are going to change the way you approach an encounter. So maybe one will grant you less instant healing, but offer a steady stream of health regen over a long period of time, or maybe even one steals health from nearby enemies. One might even forego healing entirely and grant a temporarily shield instead. So there's obviously a wide range of these relics, which is freaking awesome, because then you can just see how that's going to really change builds, right? And then weapon mods. Weapon mods are obviously back. If you played Remnant 1, you know how those work. They're powerful abilities that you slot into your standard primary and secondary firearms. The boss and special firearms will still have their one-off mods that you cannot swap. And they're saying by dealing damage, you'll eventually build up enough power to unleash the mod effect. This is just like the first game. So they have hot shots coming back, which is what infuses your bullets with fire, and crowd control ones, all of that stuff. So this is all the same. And boss and special weapons will come with their own preset weapon mods. Obviously, those are more exotic and themed to the boss and the specific weapon. Collect as many of these weapons as you can, because you never know when their special weapon mods might come in handy. Yada yada yada. That's all the same. That was a great system in Remnant 2. In Remnant from Ashes, and I'm not surprised it's stayed the same, because it's literally really, really cool and offers all sorts of ways to craft around weapons. Yeah, it's just great. If you have any questions, leave them in the because I've sort of got a playthrough as well of Remnant from Ashes on YouTube right now. It's just in my live because I've been live streaming it. Anyways, off topic. Mutators are going to be a new feature that they're putting into Remnant 2, which also sound really interesting. They're going to take your builds to the next level, he says. Each weapon, primary, okay, I was about this. I was checking, if my voice thing was on, because it was on in the first one. That was horrible. Each weapon, the primary, your secondary, and your melee are going to have a mutator slot. Mutators are going to grant effects similar to armor set bonuses from the original game. Mutators can be leveled up by spending precious materials gained from defeating powerful enemies, which is, you can already see how that's going to be great for farming. At max level, they gain a second effect that ties the whole package together. Also great, because then you can work towards a carrot, right? You can upgrade those mutators to get it all the way upgraded, so you can unlock what sounds like another perk or something that's really going to just pull the mutator and make it the best it can be. And mutators typically affect the weapon they are slotted into. But since you have 3 weapons, you can have 3 mutators at a time. You can already see longevity-wise how great that is, because you can start farming mutators, pick ones you like, upgrade them to hit the pinnacle, and you're going to be able to do that 3 times for each mutator you have in your primary, your secondary, your melee weapon. They are bringing back traits from the first game, which are stat bonuses. These are the passives that you can drop points into. They increase each time you gain a point. Each character starts with the core 4 traits: vigor, which is health; endurance, which is stamina; spirit, which is mod generation; and expertise, which is skill cooldown, as well as their archetype trait. While standard traits are increased by speccing into them with trait points, archetype traits are automatically increased by simply leveling up your archetype. Trait points by defeating bosses and finding tomes of knowledge in the world. Same as the previous game. The difference here is the archetype that was not in the first Remnant. So that's really interesting. This is my favorite part of this post, and this is why I wanted to make this video. Hopefully you made it this far. As an incentive to play multiple archetypes, leveling each to max, which is level 10, you're going to unlock their trait, the trait of that archetype that can be used with any build. That is really cool, even if the build doesn't include the original archetype. However, if you use an archetype trait on other builds, you'll have to spend trait points to increase their strength. Keep the original archetype to gain a full 10-point trait for free once the archetype is maxed, or mix and match with another build, but spend some points to regain that power. It's up to you. That is awesome. So now any archetype they put in the game, if they end up adding more, who knows if they will, or whatever's in the game on launch, you now have like a full, I don't even know if I've played another live service game that kind of did this, to be honest with you, that if you go to play the other classes and you max those out, you actually can take the benefit from those classes if you want and combine them with another one. That's awesome. That's replayability to the max. You can go and, I mean, who isn't going to want, if you're build crafting, you're going to want to upgrade, you're going to want to take every single archetype in the game up to 10 and see what you can do with mix matching. And he finishes off by saying, in Remnant 2, the power to create awesome builds is in your hands. There are hundreds of unique tools ready for the taking, but you'll have to earn them. Explore everywhere, check every nook and cranny across every world and every story, and then check again. Awesome. I mean, like, y'all, that's really cool. The fact that they're going to give you the ability to upgrade your archetypes and then pull that into another build, I think is really cool. I cannot wait for this game. It comes out next Friday. If you pre-order the 2 premium editions, we'll just call them that. It gives you 3 days early access, which is on Friday. I will be live. If you want to join me, I'd love to have you. It is a co-op game. Feel free to join my Discord or just ask me on here and I'll play. I love playing with viewers. I do live stream on Kick. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.